Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, just your general all around awesome agent. And today it is Thursday, which means we are going to talk about episodes 08 and 09 of the original Ultraman from 1966. The first one is a really good one. The second one is inadequate. It's good, but the first one is a lot of fun because it's got all of the trademarks I like. Lots of monsters, lots of action. They're on away on a. It's just the core members of the Science Patrol rescuing people on a faraway island. So once again, thanks to the Japanese surf coasters for that stunning rendition of Ultra Q, the Ultra Q theme. And right before we get started, please like, share, subscribe, vote in the poll if there is one. Probably comparing the several monsters in these in these episodes, and leave a comment if you're watching or wherever you're watching or listening. Please, I would appreciate it if you do listen a couple more minutes longer or watch a couple more minutes longer. And now, grab yourself your big old bowl of hummus of perfection and your chosen delivery method, and let's get into it. So, our first episode is number 8, which is translated as The Lawless Monster Zone. And it certainly is. You've also got the Monster Anarchy Zone and the Zone of Lawless Monsters. Take your pick. It's translating is and transliterating is not an exact science. I like the Lawless Monster Zone. That's what we used in Xenorama. There's a current one, number 70 or something, with Ultraman in full color on sale now on Amazon. So in this one, we have this group of scientists there. That's kind of I've often wondered why they throw streamers when people used to go away on voyages. I don't know if they still do it. It seems rather wasteful and kind of would pollute everything. But what do I know? The Japanese throw streamers at pro wrestlers too, so it seems like fun. I'd like to throw streamers. But these are scientists. They're headed over to an unknown island, and then they disappear. Nothing's heard from them. So guess who's sent into action? The Science Patrol. It's another great shot of the VTOL leaving the headquarters. It's just miniatures are so much fun. And guess what they see when they arrive? This is the skull monster Red King, and he's fighting Chandler. Now, could he be more bat-like? It's Chandlar, really, which is a redesigned Pagila from Ultra Q episode. I think it was a frozen monster. There's extra stuff here. But, it says Chandler, and it's not like I'm going to resist Friends jokes here in honor of the late, great, and funny Matthew Perry. Speaking of being of perfection, there's his face. Could he have bigger teeth? It's his scone! His scone! Okay, I'll try to limit it. There's not much more, but there's probably going to be one more. So they have a nice fight, and it's bloody. And so this is one of the few episodes that got censored over here. Most of them came through intact. They got cut for syndication. Episodes got cut up a bit, and you'd lose some, hence the bootleg, but semi-official releases, original ones with the English dub, which didn't have a complete English dub, even though they had a complete English dub, but that's a story for another time. And Chompy, this was, blood and everything. Not real blood, but, it was a kid. And on a UHF channel in the 70s or 60s, you're not going to see it that clearly as it is. And Pagila's wounded. There's a lot of blood in this episode. And we don't even see the part where Red King tears off Chandler's. I called him Pagila, but Chandler's got his arm torn off in his right arm. What's he going to do? Good thing he married Monica. And throws it at him and a bunch of rocks. Now, Red King is a very popular Ultra monster. I've never saw. I mean, it's well designed. He looks cool, but never been one of my favorites because he's just kind of a bully and gets beat up all the time. Loses all the time. In Ultra Galaxy, he got a makeover. He was in. He's been in many Ultra series since then. But I've always preferred Gamora. But we'll talk about that later on. There he is in all his radiant skull head, pinhead glory. That's the other thing. But he's a good looking monster. I mean, and he always gets his just desserts. And I thought I had another picture in here of of the Science Patrol flying near him, but apparently I do not. With a great mat scene. So this is Magla or Magular. All depends on your. And we'll see more of him later on. There you go. I did have a picture. So there's a nice mat scene here where they're flying and have to avoid him. They realize they've stumbled into an island of monsters, or a monster island, if you will. Long before Godzilla was on a monster island. How about that? But Toho and Tsuburaya were so intertwined, it's hard to separate them sometimes. So there's Fuji and Ito, and she's whining about this giant spider, and I wouldn't blame her one bit. I don't know what. Oh, they're getting static. There's something that's interfering with their radios, so they can't talk to each other. The little, again, long before Next Generation did it, they had lapel pins that were communicators. Here's the Sufon plant, which is Suflon. Let's see if that'll come up. Yes, Suflon. It shows that this is the first appearance it makes. It's very definitely carnivorous and is out to chomp on. I think that's Ito there. And he also grabs Fuji. Fortunately, the spider shot is there and burns the plant away. There's a better picture of Magla or Maglar, depending on how you want to say it. Good looking monster. A little undone by crawling around on your hands and knees, but that just has to happen. Here's a lovely match shot where you combine both human and monster action. Hayata gets thrown down the side of a mountain and lands on his head. The dummy lands on his head. It's a good thing he's got Ultra Force inside him, or the Ultra Power, or the Enigma Force. Yeah, there's a Micronauts reference. We'll have to talk about Micronauts sometime. At least those first 11 issues, because they're gold. Drawn by Michael Golden. No pun intended. And here is what he looks like. Now, poor Magla gets defeated by bombs from the Science Patrol. Hayata and Captain Mura throw bombs, and that's it. He dies. Also, we never see Chandler again after Red King disarms him. Whoop-pa! Told you there was one more. And here's our first shot of Pigmon, who was also Garamon, much bigger in Ultra Q. And he's been following them, but he leads them. Look, I love this little shot of the ray spider shot. They just were really inventive with their lasers and animated beams and things. But fortunately, they don't kill him. They attach a balloon to him later on. And Pigmon is a very popular monster. He shows up a lot. He gets killed a lot, at least twice in this series. There's the sole surviving scientist, and they've found him, and Pigmon's led him to him, and then Red King shows up, and apparently he's going to eat all of them. We don't know exactly what these monsters ever eat. It's not ever really told. The Red King story in the Ultraman Powered or Ultimate Hero, the second English Ultraman series, was a little different, a little wussier, and mated for life because there was a Mrs. Red King. Red Queen, maybe? And here they zap him with their guns, just like that. They hit him in the eyes, too. They're really kind of brutal, but Pigmon gets squashed. He's still got the balloon with him, but that squashes him and kills him. This isn't titled The Littlest Hero. It's just titled The Lawless Zone of Monsters, but very popular, and he's cute. So This is where they hit him in the face with that balloon. They shoot the balloon, flies up in front of him, and they zap him. Big old explosion. Then Ultraman shows up and gives him attacks him from the backside. Some hero. Well, Red King deserves it though. He's a jerk. And still with the Type A mask, and he just throws him around. He doesn't even use his any of his beams or anything. So part of me thinks they kind of used up the budget for that and just had to beat him up. And they do. That's where they leave him. He puts his hands down. Is he dead? Maybe. We may see Red King again. And now, A.G. Subaraya was a Catholic, according to August Dragoni, and we see a lot of cross imagery in the Ultra series. I don't know if his sons and other people were, but he's marking his three deceased comrades, and they've now named it Tatara Islands. Oh, good episode. Action-packed, full of monsters. My kind of episode. So the Surf Coasters are worth, at least what I saw, were a three-piece band, but there's four guitars playing there, so there's some overdubs going on. Surf music's not completely my bag. I appreciate it, and especially the musicality. And this I like. But, some of the other stuff, it's just endless noodling. I mean, I like Dick Dale quite a bit, but, it's fun to listen to, but I don't want a steady diet of it. All right, so we've gone out of the monster zone, and now we are into Operation Lightning, Lightning Operation, Operation Grease Lightning, Operation Uranium. Lots of names, but we're going to go with Operation Lightning or Operation Grease Lightning because that seems to be the consensus. That something about lightning, which there's no lightning in here at all. Our monster today is is Gabora, who actually gets named. He might be after Bemlar. Maybe Naranga was named. I don't remember. But Gabora is identified. So right there, everyone knows who he is. We start out with a big flood, or it's a lot of rain is what happens. And these are the crux of this. There's from the no kids in the last episode to this many, and no girls, except for Fuji. It's kind of a sausage fest here. Or maybe a Vienna sausage fest. But be that as it may, it's lots of kids. This is I don't know. They're not the Boy Scouts? Maybe they're the. I was going to call them something, and now I don't remember. But whatever version that is. So here's more of the flood scene. I just like the miniatures here. They probably swiped this from somewhere. And here's Ito and complaining about a lack of action, and Fuji telling him to suck it up. And then there's Gabora is a burrowing monster, which is only fitting since they're using most of Baragon's from Frankenstein Conquers the World costume. New paint job, new head, and a frill that folds over to protect its face while it's underground, I guess. And see, he's saying, it's Gabora, it's Gabora. Gabora likes to eat uranium mines and has been woken up by the floods. Apparently it's been asleep, I guess, maybe. So here's a nice match shot, right, with the crowd running. Nobody's laughing, at least not that we can see. And they use flame to drive it away, which kind of works for a minute. All right, and there's our science patrol. There's everybody. Hoshino's the only boy at this point in time, right now. And except for these two dopes. And once again, one of them falls down the mountainside. This happens a lot. When Hayata fell down the mountain in the last episode, he lost the beta capsule, because of course he did. They tried to make it dramatic, and it kind of got old, I thought. When you watch them in order, you're like... And again, you're only supposed to watch these once a week, so you wouldn't remember, or might not. But when it happens every week, you're going to remember. Hayata takes a plane up. They're going to draw Gabora away with uranium, and he's got two what do I want to say? Stowaways. It's Spritle and Chim Chim. Well, the voice of Spritle and Chim Chim did the voice of Fuji and Hoshino. So there you go. I had to throw him back out, and he lands and makes him get out. But here's a real helicopter carting about a fake uranium. Here's a fake helicopter carting about a fake uranium, but a lovely, just perfectly done and in scale. Looks good. The monsters are all about 50 meters. Some a little taller, some a little longer, but in the same size as Ultraman to make it a fair fight. Gabora has a beam weapon of some kind coming out of a breath weapon, looking a lot like a certain King of the Monsters atomic breath. I can't imagine why. There's the real helicopter again, and this is where he makes the two stowaways debark. And here's Ito looking at them because Gabora actually clips the helicopter, and he's looking through there, and this is what he sees. Kaboom! Oh no, Hayata's dead. Or is he? But right here is another mat scene. This is the tail of Gabora going by a live-action Hayata. And using the beta capsule, Hayata becomes Ultraman. And there's a nice close-up of Gabora with all these teeth and fangs. And how does that thing eat anything? No wonder it has to eat uranium. Looks like it's burping, right? And the fight begins. So there's a lot of writing on this monster. I think it's the first time. Yeah, he'll do it again. Oh, yes. He does an ultra kick long before a rider kick, which has no real effect. But, I mean, neither monster, when it's defeated, he rips off two of the frills and it just dies. You kind of feel sorry for it because unlike Red King, who's a jerk, Gabora is just eating, just hungry and wants some uranium. And wouldn't be a bad thing if Monster ate all the uranium. Ultraman leaves. The kids cheer. Everyone's happy that Hayata's alive. The boys are okay. And is that it? That is it. See, pretty easy episode. It's not my favorite. I mean, the one, if you compare number 8 and number 9, number 8 is hands down a way better episode. This one was broadcast on September 11th, 1966. The previous one was broadcast 7 days before that, September 4th, on my sainted mother's birthday. And that will wrap up our review of two more episodes of Ultraman. Agent K just made an appearance. She's very cute and wants some attention, but she'll have to wait a little bit. So, my fellow agents, let's do this. My fellow agents, until our next Ultra assignment, this is X7, reminding you to hang on to those beta capsules and spider shots, or spider guns. In the Japanese dub, you can hear them say spider a lot with the Sufan plant. But again, until our next assignment, this is X7, signing off.